Good afternoon, Patriots. This is Jonathan Alexander reporting live with Live Border News. And I've got a couple special guests I'm going to be bringing on the show. Mark Anthony and California candidate Paul Jones. He's going to be coming on so give me a minute and we'll be going live. All right, good afternoon. So I've got Mark Anthony and Paul Jones. I'm going to be bringing them both on live right now. Paul Jones was down on the border with me. He's a candidate for California State Assembly. Those are the guys that actually write the laws. So I'm bringing Paul on here.
Hello.
Well, good afternoon. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good. I'm Paul Jones, candidate for California State Assembly District 62.
Okay, Paul, I'd like for you to share with the viewing audience what my troopers and you seen down here on the border.
Well, to start with, we were down in Douglas on the border there filming. We decided, two of us on the team decided to take a walk across the border, made a purchase there at a duty-free store, which I haven't seen before outside of an international airport. There is a security guard that will walk you to the border with your merchandise. We walked across straight into Mexico, no ID shown. We walked a path directly across. They have a path going across the traffic there. And on the other side is the entry into the United States. What I did is I just walked, there's one turnstile and then you're waiting in line and then there's another turnstile. I had my ID in my hand, ready to go. I walked through the turnstile into the door. I had my ID in my hand. It took about a millisecond, glanced at it and just waved me on. No ID check, none whatsoever. I could have had a fake ID. It could have been a stolen ID. I could have been a terrorist. No one checked. According to the law, we're supposed to have a passport to go back and forth across the border. It's not being required, which means everybody and their mother can walk through that border free and clear, walk across, get into a car just on the other side, and go anywhere in the United States.
And you had several people, Paul, from different countries right in line with you as you're coming back in through the U.S. border. Um, and what you seen there, they were just kind of waving them on through, correct?
I mean, not even checking the packages. There are some people in there with big, almost duffel bag full of merchandise or whatever they had. Could have been weapons. I don't know. They don't check. There is no metal detection in that coming through that door. So it could have been anything.
Yeah, exactly. So right there in Douglas, right there, that where we witnessed, we met with the sheriff. Me and Mark kind of discussed this yesterday on our broadcast. We discussed with the sheriff the crisis that they got going on down there. We got invited to that meeting with the ranchers and everything. One of I support what that sheriff does in so many ways, of what he's doing. But what is more concerning, though, is what's going on right down there in Douglas, which is his county, him, his deputies as well. You can't tell me for 1 second this sheriff does not know this is going on. I mean, that's my point behind it. Why is this sheriff allowing this to happen down there, right there at the port of entry?
Yeah.
I mean, this sheriff can very well be making an arrest as they come right on through. I mean, illegal means one thing: illegal. We know this.
Yeah.
So why is this being allowed? Go ahead, Mark.
What's the point of being a sheriff if you can't act as the sheriff? I mean, look, at the end of the day, if I was sheriff in that county, I'd be making arrests. I would be holding illegals, detaining them. I would do everything I could, even if it meant me losing that badge for the sanctity of this country. That's exactly what I'd do. That badge means nothing if there's nobody standing behind it.
Exactly. And this is one of the things that, I'm not here to beat up on sheriffs, politicians, and everything. At the same time, I am going to beat up on them some. What we are seeing is unacceptable. I mean, these sheriffs got to understand they work for we the people, not the other way around.
That's correct.
And with that being said, we know they're the law of the land. I mean, they've got that right to make arrests in their county. This is not out of their jurisdiction or anything else.
No, it's not.
So why is this not happening? Paul, I took you down to the Tucson sector as well, to Sasebe, Arizona. You got to witness what me and my men go through daily. And, you being a Marine, a former Vietnam combat vet as well, right in the heart of the combat in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You said you felt like you were in a war zone down there.
I did. I mean, I had to take a long step back because I literally felt that I had walked right back into combat between the automatic gunfire and the explosions and everything else that were going on.
Paul, a lot of people don't realize how bad it really is there, and until you get there and actually witness it yourself, and to know what's really going on. Someone like yourself, I mean, it can actually trigger those old memories, those old thoughts of being at war.
Yeah, I was concerned about that because I still have PTSD all these years later. I've been in counseling for PTSD also, besides the physical problems.
Right.
But it just, I had to have a long discussion with myself to keep myself from bringing all that forward again.
Yep, exactly. Well, Paul, God bless you for being there with me and my troopers down there. I mean, for you to take time out to come right into the heart of cartel land, to experience this for yourself firsthand and see what we are talking about to the American people. I muchly appreciate your service. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you.
But, we have been trying to get like Senator Borelli out here in Arizona uh, Leo Biosucci down to the border.
Right.
We've heard the same thing from all these guys. Oh, we've been to the border. We know what's going on. Well, bullshit. I'm going to call black, black, white, white, like I always do.
Exactly.
No, don't tell me I've been to the border. Yeah, you've been down to the border wall. You haven't been, you're down there, you get a Photoshop, you're out of there. How about coming down and seeing what we're witnessing, going into the heart of the main issues that we're facing daily? Again, we had Senator Hart from Idaho fly all the way in from Idaho to be at the border with us. Why is it that we can get an Idaho senator down there?
Yeah.
And we can't get Arizona senators to the border when they're right on the front line of the problems with us? Why are they not coming in, documenting this, taking this before the House legislators and everybody else, demanding for action on our borders?
I believe it's
These
because they don't want to be caught with their pants down.
exactly.
They don't want to be they don't want to be seen there with their pants down. They know to an extent where we are with this, and I honestly believe there's more to the story because they do not want to be caught at that border with their pants down, and they know how horrific it really is, and they're just backing up, being hushed about it.
Yeah, that's
Well,
I don't think once if they would solve the problem at the border, are they afraid that their federal aid is going to end? Is that what this is about?
Oh, definitely.
Paul, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
Mark.
I was just gonna say that me and Jonathan has been over this 100 times, if not 1,000 times. Who gives a crap about your federal aid? Stand up for what's right. The people,
Exactly.
the people know that you're in the fight and you're doing what's right. Who cares about that federal money? We, the people, will fund whatever you need to be doing if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you can get down there and show us saying, hey, we need funding because federal government's just cut us off, but this is our plan of action, this is what we're going to do to secure these borders, then we, the people, will step in, I promise. But it's going to take people like Jonathan, myself, you, other senators to come in and share the story so that people actually know what we're doing down there on the border, what we're reporting, and what's really getting done. Like I said, what good is it being a sheriff or anything else to this matter if you can't do your job? Hang your badge up and do it some other way, because obviously they're not letting you be a sheriff. They're not letting you be a senator. They're not letting you be a congressman. And if that's what it takes, then you back up and repunt.
Exactly. Well, here's a good example. We talk to a lot of sheriffs every day. A lot of the sheriffs, say, well, we can't get involved. I said, what do you mean you can't get involved? They said, well, that's that county's problem. For example, down in the Tucson sector, Sassby, Arizona, that's the Pima County Sheriff territory. We know he's one corrupt SOB down there in Pima County. So he's actually aiding the cartel by protecting their water drops, food drops, the whole 9 yards. That's 50 miles from the border wall on American soil. And he's ordered his men to protect it. Anybody caught destroying these water and food drops, just go right to jail. So, that's the kind of person that needs to be removed from power. As far as I'm concerned, hold that sheriff for treason because he's assisting with a foreign invasion. Any way you look at it, that's assisting with the foreign invasion. I saw, we just got done sharing about Kerry Lake Mark today on our broadcast. He's been covering a lot of what we've been covering for the American people. And, getting it out there. And she's letting the American people know now, yes, this is a war zone down in the Tucson sector. We are at war. She flat out said it, But I've been telling people for the last several weeks, we are at war on our borders.
Yeah, I mean,
we all.
Go ahead, Mark. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, you've seen it firsthand now. Like I said, me and Jonathan talk about it on a day-to-day basis, and we've been there. We've experienced things. He's experienced things. I've experienced things, and we correlate things. But at the end of the day, where do we make the change? That's where what we got to talk about now. It ain't about who's doing what and what's doing who. It's about me, you, my fellow brother, my fellow patriot, my fellow veteran, how do we come together to stop this at the border? Look, no holds bar. It's not about the sheriffs anymore. It's because obviously they can't get it done. We're watching it. Whether they're being hand tied, they know something we don't know. It's to the obvious, or they don't have enough manpower, or they're overrun. Just like we were talking about the numbers with the cartel, how many actually cartel are sitting somewhere around that border, and there's millions, just like me and Jonathan were talking about. Well, it's going to take a lot more Americans to sit on that border saying, we're not going to take it. And if you come across this border, this is what's going to happen to you. Now, look,
Yeah.
I'm all about due process. I'm all about coming into this country being vetted to make sure we know who you are and giving you a chance at freedom. I'm all about it. I have plenty of Mexican friends and love them to death, but it's a due process. But that border being open is a tragedy, and it's against everything national security that holds us safe inside this country.
I agree. And it's just like Jonathan and I talked about it. This isn't a Democrat problem. This is not a Republican problem. This is an American problem. And
American problem.
The politicians aren't going to solve this, but we have to, because they're
That's
not going
correct.
to.
We the people. That's right.
The people.
So where do we go from here? What steps can we put together to get people there to stop what's going on? Because obviously the government's not going to listen to us. I mean, the government. Go ahead.
Mark, we questioned the sheriff up there in Cochise County, and I flat out said to him right there in the meeting, I said, why don't you guys do kind of like Idaho can do or other states and just call in a posse, deputize the men, and his excuse was, well, we're a tight community here. We've got our ranchers. Well, you know what? I don't care how tight your community is, how many ranchers you got. You don't have nearly the manpower to hold off this kind of an invasion on our soil.
No.
Right. And if the ranchers are out there listening, what I would tell you to do is go and protest with the sheriff and say, we need these people that are on these podcasts that are talking, that are willing to come down here and help us. We need that manpower to show force that we're not taking it here anymore. That's what they need to do, because if not, they're going to lose their ranches, they're going to lose their livestock, and they may even lose their lives.
Right. Well, and you know what? That's the thing. Anybody that's watched my reporting, watched our team out in the field, knows we don't just talk the talk, we walk it.
That's right.
I'll take my men into any situation to put a stop to it, to get it exposed, to do whatever we got to do to see to it that, we are taking care of our country, our families. My favorite phrase is it's all about God, family, and country.
That's it.
And that's so true. Because without God, we ain't got a country, people.
No.
Without a country, we sure in the hell ain't going to have a family.
That's right.
So
yeah,
go ahead.
I get so frustrated, and this because anybody knows my frustration, you do. I live over on the East Coast, and I'm not faced with a border crisis over here, but I'm down there with you, Jonathan, and in Texas fighting this fight, whether it be, preventing child trafficking or, helping with, the situation with the border, trying to get the word out so people know what's really going on. People would say, well, that's really not your fight, but it is. This is my country. It affects me in every way. They're dropping these people off in Nashville. They're dropping them off in Chicago. They're dropping them off in Florida. It's my country. It affects me, and it's going to affect you. And if you don't get off your ass and do something, you're not going to have a country. And I don't know how far I've got to push and push and push to get it through, but this affects me. And like I said, I'm not sitting on the border, but every rancher, every farmer, every kid, every wife that's sitting over there, it affects me because that is my brother and sister through Christ. And it's my job to protect them.
Amen. Very well said, Mark.
One of the things that when we were right there with all those gaping holes in the border wall, to have a woman look me in the face and tell me, my children, they're not her children. They were both the same age. She's a trafficker.
That's right.
Exactly. She's bringing them in.
Well, they sure weren't twins.
No, they were not.
No.
And we see it all the time. And you would think that Border Patrol or the Sheriff's Department would stop them and separate them and vet to find out who these kids are to oppose to the adults. And me and Jonathan talk about this all the time, but they don't.
No.
And it's every frigging day, day in, day out, every second of the day, somewhere along that wall, they're coming through there, and nobody's even stopping it. I mean, yeah, you're at
Mark,
home and you're good.
and you know what you're saying is spot on. I mean, when we spoke to Border Patrol down there, multiple occasions, and it's not just one. This is all of them saying the same thing. They know these are not those women's children or the men that's bringing them through the wall. They know this. So if you know these are not their children, why in the hell are you not doing your job detaining those people, getting the children out of their custody so that they're not trafficked right here in America? Because they know they're going to human trafficking homes here in America.
Oh, yes.
Border Patrol will tell you that.
Oh yeah.
So if you know this, then why are you not protecting those children? That's my question.
You know, one of the other things that you know, where are you from when you were, you know, when you were out there talking to them, and I was also talking to them, but a statement of, you know, where you came from, you know, I couldn't believe the different countries that are coming in here. But then why are you here? Biden send me? Oh, please. Biden send me. Biden tell me come. It's
Yep.
That's all I thought about for a while there is why are you here, and to have that said to me, and then to look at these kids. I mean, there are adults.
Paul, I want to ask you a question. I want a direct question that I've got to ask you. I appreciate your service. Appreciate you being with me and my troopers down here on the border. I appreciate you putting your life in harm's way to see this. What are you going to do for California if you're elected?
If I'm elected, one of the first things we have to do is to change the sanctuary status of the state of California. It's been this way since 2017. Never put on the ballot. Governor Brown decides, okay, I've decided California is going to be a sanctuary state. Well, now we're sitting at over $31 billion per year supporting illegals, while we the people can't even make ends meet or buy groceries. These laws have to be stopped. This 20, you know, they're getting $500 a week here in California for unemployment. They haven't never worked here. They're getting $1,200 a month in Social Security aid. They're getting another $2,200 a month as far as additional aid, and this isn't including their housing. While they're putting Americans out on the street, including veterans, to move them in, and we're paying for it here. We're already $27 billion in the hole. And it just keeps multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. When does it end?
So you're telling me that these illegals are actually getting Social Security benefits right there in California?
They are, along with the $500 a week in unemployment. I think that was the biggest one. They just passed this recently, where they're going to pay the illegals $500 a week in unemployment. When did they pay into it? They
Never.
So we have our veterans being kicked out of housing. We've got even senior citizen homes where they're putting the senior citizens out on the street, basically telling the families you got to come get them, do whatever. They're filling them up with illegals. They're leaving everybody high and dry, but yet they're feeding, financially supporting these illegals, giving them our Social Security benefits, the whole 9 yards, for people that's never even earned it.
No.
And this is a crap they're pulling off in California. Unbelievable.
I mean, I see this every single day. I go out talking to people every single day that I possibly can to ask them, to have them tell me how this is affecting you. And there's a lot of these people that I've talked to that have almost brought tears to my eyes because they're barely making it from day to day. And here you have illegals who are making more than most families here.
Unbelievable. What else are you wanting to do for California?
We've got to stop this invitation. I mean, it's like the government here in California says, oh, please come on in. We'll take care of you because we're a sanctuary state. but they don't stop to think about what it's costing us. I mean, the taxes are so high here, you can't hardly afford anything as it is. And all I hear about is Bidenomics isn't working. No, Bidenomics is not working, not in the least. So you have to stop the border status. You have to stop this insane paying out on a monthly basis that is costing the taxpayers of the state of California. They can't afford this. They say, well, we've got 500,000 people leaving every year. Well, you've got 500,000 people, Americans, we the people leaving because they can't afford the state of California. Well, we bring in 1 million illegals to pay for it. So where does this end? Where does it stop? I've got to find a way, being in Sacramento, being part of the individuals who can change the laws and make the laws, to get rid of these ridiculous laws, all supporting the illegals and not the people of California. I can't take that. I won't take that. I'll do whatever I have to do to make a difference.
Well, you made that very clear by taking the trip down to the border with me and my team. I know you're planning another trip with us down there as well. You did this on your dime as well. Muchly appreciate it. Because these trips aren't cheap. We know this. But for you to take time out of your life and what you're doing there in California to come see this for yourself spoke volumes about you. Kind of like Senator Hunt.
Yeah, and you didn't bring your little cameraman for your little picture. I mean, it was all, heartfelt that you were going to do it. It was good intent. And, the people will see that. I mean, I really think that's what we're so tired of. Every time a senator, and Jonathan knows this, they'll show up, they'll have their camera crew, get a few pictures, and then they're off. But for a man to stand up, drive himself in there, spend his own money, not bring a photographer, and boots on the ground for days, hey, it speaks volumes to us. You're the kind of person.
Yeah, not to mention the areas we went into, Paul. You definitely put your life in harm's way being there with me and my team. I mean, it's not a good feeling when you got a bullet whizzing by your head.
Oh yeah,
it speaks volumes to the American people.
One of the other things that I want to bring up real quick is the education here in California. You've got all these different languages coming into the state of California, into our education system. How are these teachers going to figure out how to take care of all these different languages? That's more money that has to be spent here in California just to have translations from Guatemala, from Mexico, from Honduras. It's never ending. I mean, we're 47th in education in the United States. It's pathetic.
It is. I agree.
That's horrendous.
Yep. So we've got a trip that we're planning out there in Phoenix coming up, and a bunch of you are going to be going back down to the border with me and the team as well to come see a lot more. And I know you're going to be here, Mark, so that's appreciated. I'm going to pick on Clay Clark a little bit today, his events and different things. Clay Clark, if you're listening today, you know what? Your tours you guys do a lot of good stuff. At the same time, you guys need to start addressing what's happening on our borders as well. I mean, this is all about, election fraud with your big events that you do. You're not going to have to worry about the elections if we ain't got a country left to even worry about. So, Mark, the truth tour that you and I did together out in outside of Nashville there, as far as I'm concerned, that was top notch. You guys put it together well, and we had some great speakers there. And
we talk about the real things at hand: trafficking, borders. We talk about life experiences. Look, we've been talking about this whole thing about election fraud since the beginning with Trump's presidency. And so, the reality to this is I'm tired of hearing it. Look, it's the same old people going to the same old events while they're racking in the dollars. I'm just going to say it, while they're racking in the dollars. Let's talk about closing the friggin' borders, because we all know, just like President Trump has made it very clear, it all starts at the borders. We got to secure our borders first. Because if we secure the borders, then we can secure our inside the borders, okay? So it all starts with the borders. We need to start. Look, we know the election fraud. We know what we've heard it 1,000 times over and over again, and that's all great and dandy. But the point is we have a crisis, not even on this border. We got a crisis on the northern border as well. So
exactly.
we've got to secure our borders first and foremost, and nobody is talking about them at these events. And that needs to be the top number one priority, in my opinion, today and age, is stopping these illegals from coming in.
Well, you know, I'd like to find out if there's a way, if you know, Trump gets back in power, that he can do a call to action, you know, with the, and I'll say it, with the militias all across the country and everything else. I mean, militias can be called in.
That's right.
You know, I'd like to see something in that category take place. I'd like to see our borders secured. And again, this isn't just a bunch of people crossing. It's a war zone. We are at war, America. If you haven't figured it out, we are at war on our own soil.
Well,
this week, go ahead, Paul.
When you were making one of the interviews that we did, to be told that the U.S. Marshals were brought down there, they were running every 6 months, and John, you did the interview with this person, and I just sat there and listened to it. And I was just floored.
Yeah. It's like, what did they accomplish in the 6 months being down there? And that's over in Cochise County. I mean, their problem.
They accomplished nothing.
Yeah, it's gotten 10 times worse down there from 6 months ago. So it's like, why the hell do you send them down? Then the Biden administration ordered them out of there.
Exactly. That's the other thing that floored me.
Yep. So
you know,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to go back to what I was saying about the borders. You know, this needs to be, like you said, Jonathan, God and country and family. And obviously our houses need to be put in order. You know, our faith in God and faith in Christ and securing these borders. Those are, to me, are the top. You know, just this weekend alone, I know Juan and a bunch of people were down in Florida, did a big event down there, and it was about faith and stuff. And there was from what I understand, it was a good crowd. And that's what we need to focus on: God, family, and securing our borders. None of this other stuff at this point in this time really even matters.
Well, you know, Senator Hart spoke out and he said something, and I'll just share it because I know the senator would say it right to everybody anyways.
Oh, definitely.
He flat out said we just need to launch a full scale airstrike right against the cartel, send a strong message letting them know this is no longer tolerated. And, you know, that's basically their warning shot after you wipe them out, a big portion of them, and just let them know if this continues, you know, that's just a warning. So I agree. You know, I believe that's what needs to be done. That's the only way you're going to put a stop to what's happening on our borders as far as this everyday invasion constantly. And once you send that kind of a message, you know, I can guarantee you, you're not going to see a bunch of women and children coming right through the border wall.
No, we're at the brink. It needs to happen. Something. We talked about this yesterday. Do we call the bikers in for Trump to the wall? Do we call in all the patriots? Do we call in all the veterans? I mean, what do we do as a country to stop it? Because obviously our government's not going to do shit.
No, they're not.
Well, and you know, Mark, the other thing is, if that call to action did occur, how many patriots are going to get out from behind their keyboard, quit being a keyboard warrior, and would actually show up?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's the thing. I hear so many people talk the talk. Now, I can tell you that my crowd, which all of them would show up, just because I know that whole military entourage that I have. But the people that talk the talk, they'll be sitting in their living room watching TV live, trying to view what's going on CNN and ABC while we're down there, while they're sitting at home with their families because they're too damn scared.
Yeah.
Well,
and like I said yesterday, our women today are more warriors than our men have ever been. I mean, we've got women that want to go to the border every time we go down. Of course, it's not a place for a woman, but they're willing to put themselves out there for it. And it's a sad, sad day in this country when our mama bears have to stand up because our men have turned into a bunch of wusses.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. I want to thank you.
I couldn't have said that better.
You know, I'm thankful as a candidate for California to have the opportunity to be with you guys to cover all of this, to bring it back here to California, because there's so many different times that they're listening to Communist News Network, CNN, and the other ones, and they actually believe it. So for me to have the opportunity to be able to come back to California and start bringing people together and actually show them what's going on there live is just incredible for me to have this opportunity.
Yep.
We're just going to have to keep working through it until we get some answers. I mean, that's the only thing I know to do is keep going, keep reporting, keep getting more people involved, keep sharing. Please keep donating. I mean, because it takes a lot of money. I mean, we're not government funded. We don't have any funding. You know, it takes a lot to get there and get home. And unfortunately, you know, we can be a voice, but we need that voice with everybody else behind us, standing behind us, saying, we've got your six, we got your back, keep reporting, and we'll do our job and you do your job. And let's just keep this going so the whole entire country realizes that this is a screwed up, no more, you know, full blown war on the border. And it's right in your backyard, and it's coming to a town near you. And it's going to be pretty unbearable.
Well, you know, Mark, I've told people in the past, you know, for the price of a Dutch Brothers coffee or whatever, you know, if you could make some contributions time to time to us and our team, you know, if you do that times a bunch of people here in America, that would really help out with what we're doing on the border. And a lot of people say, oh, that's begging for money and all this kind of crap. It's like, well, wait a second. I don't see your asses out here on the front line with me and my team. How do you call that begging? We're out here getting this exposed, getting it to America, as you guys want to sit out there and call us beggars. It's like, kiss my ass. Excuse my mouth.
Well, you know, in a lot of, you know, we can get into hotels, and we can get into gas, and we can get into fuel and eating, but we have to have advanced equipment to even keep up with them. I mean, people don't understand. We have to have super advanced equipment, drones, everything else to keep up with what we're watching. And it's a lot and cost involved in it. And it doesn't just fly out of the middle of nowhere. I mean, it just has to happen. We've got to have contributions in order for this thing to continue on. But we've got to have advanced equipment in order to maintain where we're at with the cartel to even watch them.
Oh, exactly. You know, I've been telling people for quite some time we're in need of drones. If they don't want to send out financial help, you know, if they want to drop a gas card out to us, you know.
That's
right. At this, I mean, if they see my fuel bill just this last month, it's several $1,000s. That's just some fuel.
That's right.
That's not including my lodging, camping out for a week in the desert, whatever. You know, it all takes supplies, time, and money.
That's right.
But at the same time, you know, whether they want to donate or not, we find ways to get this done. I mean, we take it out of our pensions. I know you do yours as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, as long as we're getting this out to America, that's the important thing. For those that want to help, you know, we appreciate your help. So for the donors out there that's already donated, muchly appreciate what you've helped us out with. I don't want you to think you've been unappreciated. Every bit has helped us tremendously.
If you'll just share that share and like button will help us out a bunch. Get the word out there. The more that we can travel across the United States and people get to see this, the better chance we are to get that funding where we can take more and more to the border and actually get things going the way that we need them to be shown to the American public. And like I said, we're only in a little bitty piece. The border's a huge, huge place, and we're only in one, you know, two little sectors there. But it's, you know, and we're in the biggest sectors, obviously, but it's going on all over. I'm going to share a story with you real quick. I shared this back a while back. Back in early 2000s, I was down in lower, what I call the Triangle of Texas. And I was there on a ranch with some friends of ours, and cartel had come in, and some hunters were there asleep. and 10 men throats were slashed and their cars were stolen, and they caught them somewhere around San Antonio. These people don't give a rat's ass about you. Don't give a rat's ass about your kids, your family. They don't care nothing about you. Listen, at the end of the day, it's going to get worse, and we've got to stop it. And this is a call to action to every single person that's listening to this. If you want to be a part of it, and you've got some type of military experience, police experience, and you're not a wuss, and you think you can handle it, reach out to us, because we need those teams on that border. We need to show manpower that we're building up a coalition, and this is not going to stop, and we're going to take our country back, and it's going to stop at the border.
Amen. Couldn't say that better, Mark.
It's kind of emotional for me when you got that phone call Tuesday night after we wrapped up the live shoot on the border that night. What happened, the phone call you got about the border patrol officer.
Yeah.
That was killed.
The one that was killed on the border, correct. I mean, but you know, Paul, this is the thing. You don't see this on your news channels.
No.
CNN, not even Fox News puts that kind of reporting out.
I've waited for that report. I mean, I have actually waited to hear about the officer that was killed Tuesday night when we left the border. What was it, 45 minutes before you got the phone call?
Yep.
And it's not on the news. I have heard nothing.
And if you go on my Facebook, you know, I've been sharing here and there about when we're losing our Border Patrol guys. I just recently posted another one that died in the line of duty.
Yeah.
You know, but why are these other news channels hiding it from the American people? Because it does not meet their agenda. You know, they don't want the American people knowing the crisis that we're facing really on our southern borders. They don't want people knowing that we got men dying in the line of duty out here in the field.
And that's somebody's dad, uncle, cousin, brother, son. That is somebody that's important. You know, just as soldiers go into battle that never come home. Those guys are soldiers. Look, they're only being told what to do. And unfortunately, I'm gonna say this live right here in front of everyone. Most of those Border Patrol agents don't even want to take the command of what they're being told to do. And they cannot come out and say it, but they don't even want to take the command of it because they know it's wrong and there's nothing they can do about it, but they can't quit because they have families to support.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what the other thing, when we look up the hill there, I mean, the main news is sitting a half a mile away with a telescopic lens making a report on the border. They're not there. They're half a mile away. So that was really irritating to look and see a reporter, quote, half a mile away on a hill with a telescopic lens talking about the border. You're not there. You're a half a mile away. So what the hell are you accomplishing in telling the people of America?
Exactly. Well, it just goes back to show you, they're too damn scared to even get close.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's the liability. They're too close. They don't want to get close because they know how bad it is.
Well, that's like that large group up there in Sasebe that came through the border. Part of the team spotted that a couple of them had guns on them.
Yeah,
and they were definitely watching my back as I'm asking them where they're all from, you know. And if you would have seen the look, Mark, some of these guys gave me, the look was like, you know, they wanted me dead.
Oh yeah. I just, when I'm watching their eyes and I'm watching their facial expressions and their body movements, they wanted us dead right there.
We've seen it.
Yeah, I'm still getting past all of this, and I know the more that I go, the more that I see, the more that I will understand.
You know what? It's traumatizing, Paul. I mean, when you go back and you start thinking, when you get off by yourself and you start processing what you've been through the whole entire trip, and you go from A to Z, and you process every person you came in contact with, and who was who, and who looked at you, and who acted a certain way, and you start detailing the things that you didn't process right there on the spot because you're too busy scanning to make sure that you're safe, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot that comes in. You're thinking, oh my God, that guy was really out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a process. When you stop to think about it is when it really starts to hit you.
Well, you got to keep in mind too, you know, these countries are sending in the worst of the worst criminals as well, right through the borders, because they don't want them in their countries.
No.
They know it's a wide open border here in the U.S., so they're sending their hardened criminals out of their country. They're killers, they're rapists, everything in the book, and saying, well, we know America's going to take them. Let that become America's problem now.
Right.
I mean, this happens every day.
When we were out the whole team was out walking on these narrow trails through the mountains, and when we ran into the children's clothing, and you explained to me that a lot of these children, where we found the clothing, I mean, they're infants, they're shoes, they're little dolls, and they're laying there on the ground. And when you explained to me that these are children that have been raped.
Not to mention there is blood on a couple pieces of the clothing as well.
Yeah, that was very disturbing for me. I mean, being in combat and having seen it years ago, it brought back a lot of memories for me from finding children that were dead. I mean, but I have to do this. I mean, I every moment that I can spend with your team, I want to be there because I want to be able to sit down here in California and show these people this is serious. We are in over our heads, and the state of California is sinking fast.
Not just the state of California, this country is sinking fast.
Very much.
But yes, I agree with what's going on in California. You guys got a major crisis. Arizona has a major crisis. As far as I'm concerned, the whole country right now has a major crisis. This invasion isn't just affecting Arizona and California. Every state now is a border state. You can't
Everyone.
express that enough because what's coming through our borders is coming into your state as well. And, it's funny because I had people mouthing off here about 3 months ago. Oh, we don't see no buses coming into our cities. Now I've got people clean out the main going, oh my God, the buses are here. I got people in New York. Oh my God, bus load after bus load. Just even the smallest of communities are reporting in now going, oh my God, they just flooded our town, population 2,500 with a busload of with several busloads of several hundred illegals, and these towns, first of all, can't handle that kind of a population, let alone is there jobs for those people. Border Patrol will tell you, oh, we're just following orders. We were told to drop them because our facilities are overfilled. Well, if you're going to drop them anywhere, drop them and push their asses right back through the border.
There's enough walls that they've taken out. I mean, they literally use torches and explosive to take out parts of the border wall.
Oh yeah.
Well, with the people in these counties, like Cochise County and other counties there, they need to start questioning the sheriffs. I mean, listen, I'm not saying the sheriffs are all of them are bad. We know they're not. Yeah. But there's questions that still have not been answered. And you need to write them down and you need to approach them and find out, hey, why haven't we done this? Why haven't we done this? And why haven't we done this? And get legitimate answers, not some ponder off, answer, but a legitimate question. We have answers. And I know when you guys were there and unfortunately I'd gotten sick and still under the weather a little bit, but, there were a lot of things that Jonathan and I discussed that I wanted questions because if I'd have been there, I'd have been drilling because, and it's not any disrespect to them. It's just speaking for the American people. I want to know why certain things haven't been done and implemented, and who, like I said, we're going to keep going back to this. Who gives a rat's ass about your badge if you cannot enact as a sheriff? Throw it down and become a patriot.
Well, gentlemen, we've got a busy day still ahead of us. Paul, I muchly appreciate you taking time out of your life, coming down to the border, getting to witness it for yourself with me and my team. I'd appreciate you getting out what my men are going through every day as well down there. And just, and get it out to the American people of what is really happening on our borders. So, and you're more than welcome anytime on my trips to the border. And come on down with me and Mark even, and we'd be happy to have you on our team any day of the week.
I'm more I'm more than happy to be with you anytime.
You're a hell of a trooper, buddy. Appreciated you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Mark, let's have a meeting here in the next few hours, and then we'll go over some detail. And other than that, guys, I've got to get back to some stuff we're working on out here, and then and we'll go from there. Now we're going to be down in the Phoenix area. I think it's the 14th through the 17th or 18th.
Yeah, I think you said
the 14th through the 19th.
Yeah, 13th through the 19th.
Okay.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
So we're going to be down there as well.
Yeah,
and we'll be broadcasting live each day from that area as well.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, much appreciate you. Paul, you 100% got my support, buddy. I'm going to push for you.
Thank you.
I'm going to
definitely.
I'd love to see you get in office. And we need fighters like you, not a bunch of people that just talk the talk.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. God bless America. And,
God bless America.
God bless all you patriots out there. Appreciate you guys joining in on our live feed today.
Thank you.
All right, this is Alexander reporting live with Live Border News.
See you later.
Nothing but a simple man. Call me a redneck, I reckon that I am, but there's things going on that make me mad to the core. I gotta work like a dog to make ends meet. Got crooked politicians and crime in the street, and I'm madder than hell, and I ain't gonna take it no more. They tell our kids to just say no. A panty-waist judge lets a drug dealer go, slaps him on the wrist and turns him back out on the town. But if I had my way with those selling dope, take a big tall tree and a short piece of rope, hang them up high, let them swing till the sun goes down. Hell, you know what's wrong with the world today? People done gone, put the Bibles away, living off the law of the jungle, not the law of the land. The good book says it, so I know it's true. It's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You better watch where you're going, remember where you've been. That's the way I see it, I'm a simple man. I'm the kind of guy that wouldn't harm a mouse. If I catch somebody breaking in my house, I got a 12-gauge shotgun waiting